Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Karting Genk, home of champions and finals day at the Sodi World Series International Final. We have karts on the grid. It's time for the superheats. Myself and Gert Timrots are here to bring you all the action.
Good morning, Henry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Karting Genk.
Yes, indeed. This will be a 13 minute plus 1 lap race. 1.5 point times the points available in this race. And let's quickly take you through the starting lineup. Pole position in kart number 15 from Poland is Łukasz Dzierżyński. On the outside of row number 1, Viktor Nikolov from Bulgaria.
Then Peter Fabry and Juraj Mikosz on the second row on the grid.
Marcel Piasek and Alice Cox go from row number 3.
Timofey Kushniryuk from Ukraine starts 7th and Mark Beltran from Spain in P8.
Max Piacek and Alessio Zacchi round out your top 10.
Then comes Roman Curtis and Celia Desot.
Koko Sugawara and Jude Puddlefoot are on row number 7.
On row number 8, Franjo Toncic and Maximilian Sovic.
Row number 9, rounding out the top 18, Takeharu Nakamura and Agaliki Nusapoulou.
Then P19, Vladimir Bruno and Enzo Bistelia.
The drivers starting outside the top 20 are led by Filip Volsky and Kazuki Yamada.
P23 on the grid, Mille Karlstrom and Jade Wilson.
Ryusei Takagi and Roger Dioniso are next.
And at the end of the grid, Anastasios Pavlidis, Sam Nygren, Samuel Erdelt and George Badr.
George Badr, the first Lebanese driver to qualify for the junior categories here at the Sodi World Series Finals. Gertz, the weather is dry, the sun is shining.
So far.
I think it is Turbo Soleil. Beautiful sunshine in French, something like that. Anyway,
if you're looking for a forecast, there is expected some light rain about 12 o'clock, but will it be there or not? In the previous days, when we were expecting some small rain, it became really big. So no, we do not know actually, will it rain or not?
The only thing in the forecast that is guaranteed today is excitement. To bring you up to speed, Łukasz Dzierżyński has 91 points, Viktor Nikolov and Peter Fabry on 79, Juraj Mikosz on 78, Marcel Piacek on 75, Alice Cox on 70. This is a points-based championship. It's not winner takes all. The green flag drops. We're off and racing.
And the first race of final day here in Genk, Belgium starts for Sodi World Series International Finals. Łukasz and Nikolov going into the first corner. Łukasz from inside, Nikolov from the outside, and he stays behind now, fighting for the second place with Peter Fabry. 3 leaders in the point standings now fighting for the first 3 places on the race.
Although it's single 1.5 times the heat points available in this race and double points available in the final, that Łukasz Dzierżyński's rivals have to do something about him now. He's already got a 12-point lead in the standings. They need to peg back the number 15 driver from Poland as we head through the button S's.
There's a spin at the button S's. Someone is staying on the track in the opposite direction. Somehow everyone is going through, and we have a one go-kart in the grass. He's not moving back on the track. And dramatic start for the first lap of this race.
Yes, 4 drivers coming to grief early on. They all back in the running, but a long way down. What a fantastic start through Clubhouse Corner, past the podium, out in front of our commentary position. The leaders are already spreading out, and as we cross the line, who is that? That's our pole sitter with a huge advantage. Dzierżyński leading Nikolov by 1.4 seconds with Piasek, Fabry, Puddlefoot, Curtis and Cox rounding out the top 8.
So great start for the leaders, and Going so, he will extend his points position and be very, very well prepared for the finals. We had 26 points in a heat. Now we have 45 on the table for the win in superheat.
Yes, indeed. There is the number 20 kart going through. That is Peter Fabry chasing Max Piatek in the number 6 kart. They will have to try and work together. The top 3 have broken clear. Looking further back, Franjo Tontic from Croatia, Enzo Biseglia from Belgium, Timothy Kushteruk and Juraš Mikoš in kart number 10, who was up in the point standings. They were the 4 drivers that had the spin on the opening lap. So Mikoš dropping back to 8th place in the point standings.
Now he's very, very far back in a 27th place and working his way back through the field. Second lap coming to an end. Lukas Jerzerski leading. The 3 leaders have spread for more than 1 second without slipstreaming going through the starting straight. And the 4th and 5th positions, Max Piatek and Peter Fabry, 2nd and 3rd in the standings before the race, and now are working together.
And fastest lap, 1 minute 20.446 for Bulgaria's Viktor Nikolov. He has brought the gap down by 1/10 of a second. 3 wide in the middle of the pack, trying to pick out who that would be. That is Celia Dussault at the head of that group. And a yellow flag goes out. Someone has a spin. Bruno, Beltran, Nakamura and Volsky all involved. Ellis Cox has fallen all the way back to 14th. That's not great news for the Englishman, who is trying to move up from 5th in the point standings.
Now the 3rd lap in this race, we had 10 minutes plus 1 lap in a heat. Now we have 13, so a third of work more to do today than the day before yesterday. 9 minutes plus 1 lap still to go. The leaders are still spreading out, their gap increasing to 1.5 seconds, and the 4th and 5th positions are the only hope to work together, but they are joined by 6th and 7th from Jude Paddlefoot and Roman Curtis. The British guys are coming.
There it was the Brits to the fore here. Look at that midfield pack coming through turn number 9, down towards turn 10. Now, that early apex, let the kart float out, pick up the power as we cross the start-finish straight. This is the battle for, about 11th or 12th position.
Jude Paddlefoot moves forward in P5. He is in front of Max Piatek. Piatek was far in front by points after the first heat, and now they are fighting on the track, and Jude Paddlefoot is up to P5.
New fastest lap for the reigning champion, Max Sovic, although I have to say, after a poor day not yesterday, but after a poor day on Thursday, Sovic is only 16th in the points. I don't think he'll be defending his title. We're side by side. We're 4 wide going down the Europa Plan straight. Fantastic driving. Look at that. Centimetres apart. Will they all get it slowed down? Somehow they do, and that I think maybe Ellis Cox in the middle or Celia Dussault also getting involved, and there's still 3 wide coming out of the button complex into 180. Great racing, but up at the front, Lukas Jerzerski is continuing now to pull away.
It seemed like Sam Nygren, that was the guy who was moved into the spin, not went into the spin, but was moved into the spin.
He was given an assist, and I couldn't quite see who was the other member of the party last seen leaving the scene
who
of
was
the crime.
invited.
Yes, and there's a move up the inside, almost 2 positions gained. I think that was Peter Fabry trying to gain ground again. He'd slipped back to 7th position behind Roman Curtis as the leaders spread out. Still Franjo Tončić at the back of the field. We've also had a problem for Vladimir Bruno now. Anastasios Pavlidis down to 26th. George Bader up into P25. Ellis Cox has fallen back to 21.
And we are going through the next lap. 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap left till the end. Still 1.3 seconds between the leaders. The best lap for Viktor Nikolov, but he is unable to close the gap enough to use the slipstream and try to fight with Lukas Jerzerski. Jerzerski is still leading by more than 1 second. The gap is slightly less at the end of this lap. They are approaching the final corner now. There is a fight for the places at the end of the first 10, and there is a train of the go-karts fighting for 20th place now. And the leaders over the finish line once more, and it's 0.7 seconds. Nikolov, one more best lap of this race, and he is closing in.
There they go, through turn number 1. You can see Viktor Nikolov, the slightly taller driver with the dark blue race suit, and that last lap was on a 119.8 for the race leader, a 119.2 as we head out to turn number 4. Further back, here is a look at the fight between the number 25 kart of Roman Curtis. Jude Puddlefoot is there with the number 3, and behind them, I think that is the number 1
goes
kart of Max
outside.
Ovic.
He's side by side. They are fighting for their place on the track through the whole Europaland straight.
Into 180 now. Nikolov has got the bit between his teeth, closing in relentlessly on the race leader. Now, Lukasz Dzierżycki, he's not going to want to give the lead to Nikolov, but he knows that Nikolov will still be behind him in the point standings. Nikolov, though, coming up behind him going into turn number 10. Good run out of turn 9. Will we see a move on the start-finish straight? Or you could see him defending. Lukasz Dzierżycki defends. Nikolov will have to try and go around the outside, and Lukasz Dzierżycki saying, okay, thanks, push me. I don't think that's a great tactic for Nikolov. Nikolov wants to draw Dzierżycki into a battle. That slows them all down. That'll allow the chasing pack to catch up, and maybe Dzierżycki will lose a few more places. This Nikolov needs to get moving and try to slow Dzierżycki down.
Dzierżycki is slowing already. He's driving very defensive. He still has more than 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. We saw day before yesterday, such tactics were working if you are doing that in the last lap, not in the middle of the race. He still has a lot of work to do. If they are driving so defensive, they will be catched by Marcel Piatczak, Max Piatek, and Jude Puddlefoot. They are coming there from behind.
Indeed. So out of 180, down the infield straight towards Clubhouse Bend. Will we see a move from Nikolov? At the moment, Dzierżycki will have 141 points. Nikolov will have 125, and that's almost giving Dzierżycki a free run at the 2024 Sodi World Series Kids Cup title.
There are more points on the table now. There were only 2 points difference between first and second in the heats. Now we are fighting for 4 points difference between first and second. That's worth it. That's worth it to take his risks. Viktor Nikolov, he is following closely Lukasz Dzierżycki for second lap already. He had 3 fastest laps of the race in a row, and now he is behind the leader. It's time to fight.
Yes, indeed, into turn number 4. As we look back further in the pack, great scrap going on. 2, 4, 6 karts all battling for what is 9th position. That's Mark Beltran, Celia Dussault, Takehiro Nakamura, Filip Volsky, Kakoa Sugawara, and Alessio Zacchi. In this battle pack, we're watching 5-second penalties being dished out. Vladimir Bruno has got a 5-second penalty. Jurash Mikosh, as well as the spin, he's been given 2 penalties, a 3-second and a 5-second. That will knock Juraj out of the top 5 in points.
Nikolov still following Dzierżycki into the final corner of the next lap. They are going on to the starting straight, bumper to bumper. Will he try to dive inside? Will he try to go outside? Dzierżycki is in the middle of the track before the first corner. They are going bumper to bumper without any attempt from Nikolov to overtake.
And the gap back to third position is 7 seconds. So Nikolov, I can understand
there is
why
a
he's
fight
doing
for third. They are fighting now, Marcel Piatczak and Max Piatek.
Side by side for those two coming out of turn number 2. Meanwhile, the leaders are already in turn number 4, and I can understand why Nikolov is thinking, okay, this is maybe my best chance to win this race. but you've got to think big picture. This is not the main event. That the main event is later on, but it's not winner takes all anymore.
But the picture will become bigger as the points here are more on the table. He will lose more than in a heat if he lets Jerzewski finish in front of him.
Yes, indeed. And down towards Clubhouse Corner they go. Nikolov has been sat on Jerzewski's rear bumper. Here on track now is the battle for third position between Marcel Piatek from Poland and his countryman Max Piatek, and 3 Poles in the top 4 plus a Bulgarian. It's all the Eastern Europeans had their Weetabix this morning. They've woken up the right side of the bed. Jude Puddlefoot runs 5th with Max Sovic right behind him. Then it's Roman Curtis and Peter Fabre. The top 10 rounded up by Celia Dussaud and Mark Beltran.
Nikola Jerzewski before turn number 3, still driving in the middle of the track. Lukas Jerzewski defending his position and trying not to let Viktor Nikolov through. They still are driving pretty fast laps and still are pulling away from the third place. The gap is increasing because Marcel Piatek and Max Piatek are fighting themselves.
Kazuki Yamada, the Japanese driver, with a 10-second penalty for a severe contact. Obviously, the officials want to clamp down early on driving standards today. Race director Manuel Branco being assisted around the track by a number of
and there is a fight for
officials.
A third again. Marcel Piatek and Max Piatek in the 180 degrees corner now approaching Clubhouse. There are 4-way battle between Piatek, Paddlefoot and Sovic.
Now, out off camera, Sam Neugren has stopped in his kart and is sat talking to one of the officials, crash helmet off. I think maybe he's just taking a bit of a winding. His family can just see that he's okay. Probably a little bit upset, I would imagine, but still, with the clock strikes 0, this is the final lap. When will Nikolov make his move? He's got that now. He draws alongside, coming up towards turn 4. They're side by side, but Jerzewski has the inside line. Will we see the crossover? Nikolov can't get to the inside. Now he ducks to the outside, going down the Europa plan.
He goes to the outside, he's out of the slipstream, and Piatek going away. Now they are back bumper to bumper through the button S's, and in the midfield part of the track we have half a lap to go in this race. And Nikolov has chased Jerzewski for the most of this race and is still behind. The third time he's going to outside before the Clubhouse corner and is still not enough. He stays behind. Jerzewski defends his position. 2 more corners to go at the end of the lap. There is a checkered flag out already. Out to the outside again for Nikolov. He's inside at the exit of the final corner. The fight goes through the final meters of this race. And that's it. Viktor Nikolov takes the win with Lukas Jerzewski in second. And that is reducing the lead of Jerzewski in standings.
Yes, it is. Nikolov taking the victory, and provisionally he stays second in points. Jerzewski will have 137 points. Nikolov 129. The rest of the leaders still crossing the start-finish line. Max Sovic takes his best result of the week so far. The Slovakian with third position, just in front of Max Piatek, Jude Puddlefoot and Marcel Piatek. Then Peter Fabry in 7th. A top 10 result for Celia Dussaud and Mark Beltran, and Alessio Zacchi rounds out your top 10. There is a look at the full finishing order on your screen. Bad result for Juraj Mikosh, only 28th. He drops to 7th in points. A bad result for Ellis Cox. He drops to 8th in points, courtesy of a 22nd place finish. And Timothy Kushniruk, he drops to 10th in the point standings, courtesy of a 19th place finish.